What's going on, guys? Snaggy here, and it's time to review round 7 of the 2025 NRL season, and this one was an absolute banger. Shout out to every single person that went to an NRL game this weekend. The NRL just broke its all-time round attendance, and we didn't even have Broncos play at Suncorp. Imagine if Broncos played at Suncorp, we would have shattered it. But they didn't think that one through. But just crazy, man. It's so good to watch a game grow the way it's growing. It's just absolutely bananas, guys. So shout out to everyone that's reaching in their pocket and going supporting their team. And just on the Bulldogs game real quick, you can feel it through the TV. It's so much better at home when there's a big crowd. Like, I could feel the game, you know. So I always said this, guys, if you just go to one extra game than you did the year before, rugby league will be buzzing. If you went to one game last year, go to two. If you went to two, go to four, you know. And before you know it, we'll be packing out every stadium every week. That'd be awesome. Let us know how you went on the tips this weekend, guys. We went 5 from 8. I'm not mad at that. We had a real slow start to the weekend, and I was a little worried there, but we ended up salvaging it and going on a bit of a streak at the end there, guys. Took Parramatta 2, which not many people did, so I'm pretty happy about that one. And also the punt, guys, the punt review. 6 hits. Oh, this is just our double ups. 6 hits, 1 cashback, 2 fails. And the cherry on top, we had Seyfarth to score at $5.25. And we hit that too, lads. How good is that? If you do want to follow along with the punts, guys, everyone that followed along this weekend made themselves a lot of money. Make sure you follow me on Dabble. I'll leave a link to follow me on there, or to join Dabble. Follow me on there, guys. Or use code SNAG when you are joining. And jump in our Discord as well. That's buzzing too. I love chatting with everyone in there. All right, let's get to the results, guys. We'll have a look at the ladder and break down each game quickly. All right. Man, Teamless Tuesdays. It's Teamless Tuesday, man. Like this. All right. Dragons defeat the Sea Eagles 2018. Doggies destroy the Rabbitohs 32-0. Dolphins upset the Storm 42-22. This was an absolute banger. I was sitting there going, man, that's going to be game of the round. And then Parramatta just decided to do what they did. Warriors defeat the Broncos 2018. Panthers get their mojo back 40-12 against the Roosters. Raiders defeat the Titans 30-20. Sharkies defeat the Knights 34-14. And Parramatta get it done against the Tigers 38-22. Now let's have a quick look at the ladder. Doggies out in front by 2 games, boys. 2 games. Then we have Storm, Raiders and Warriors in the top 4, all on 10 points, separated by for and against. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams on 8 points. Broncos, Sharks, Dragons and Rabbitohs round out the 8. Then Cowboys, sorry. And then we have a few teams on 6 here. Dolphins, Sea Eagles, West Tigers, Titans, and the Knights. And Penrith and Eels both got great wins, and they're still 15th and 17th. That's how far behind they were, boys. They've got a long way to go. A long way to go. All right, Sea Eagles versus the Dragons. Sorry, guys. My bloody AI just started taking notes on my phone. God damn, it's going to take over. All right, Sea Eagles versus the Dragons. Now, look, just one quick thing on this. I've said this for a while. So Jake gets a HIA 5 minutes in. They lose Alloy A, and they obviously are missing Paseka. I've got this theory. Let me know what you think about this one. I think if you lose a player, like especially a forward or a player, just a player, in the first 5 minutes, you should just be able to bring someone on. Like, I reckon you should have an 18th and a 19th man, like a forward and a back, and because it is. I've been watching it. Whenever a player gets lost in the first few minutes, that team loses like 99% of the time. It is almost impossible to cover, because if it is a back, not many teams carry backs, and if they do, it's usually like a makeshift back that just gets torn apart, or a forward, and your forward rotations are all messed up, and you just run out of puff. Like I always keep an eye. I'm like, oh, all right. Player goes down, they're going to lose. Like, just keep an eye on that. I'm not a live bettor, but if you are a live bettor, if a player goes down in that first minute or two, just tip against them, because they're probably going to lose. it's just I don't, obviously you don't want to do it past like 5 minutes, but it's no real advantage to the team. That's because you're bringing on you're playing a player that couldn't make your team, but at least he's fit for the position and all that. And I just think it'd make a more balanced game. And I think it should go down. I really do. It's just how many times we've seen a player get lost on the first collision. It's just an accidental head clash. HIA's gone. You're done. Like, you're done. You're not recovering from that. Yeah. But anyway, that's just my thought. So this is always going to be, as soon as Jakey went off, sorry, I didn't know if it was Cat 1 or 2, but as soon as they said it was Cat 1 or he wasn't coming back, I was like, they're losing this for sure. And they couldn't really control the middle the way they normally did, and they were a little light there anyway because of Paseka and Aloye not being there. But really good win from the Dragons. I was pretty damn impressed, to be honest. I had them losing. I got this game wrong because they do look like a bit of a win-loss team, and Seagulls at Brookie. But man, I just really underestimated how impactful Turbo is, man. Like, we all know, like we obviously all know, but it's just they just can't buy a game when he's out. Seriously, he's just the heart and soul of that team, and they need him back ASAP. Now let's have a quick look, see when he is due back. So Paseka's Arcula is 25. Oh, this was the other one too. Now their casualty ward's all of a sudden thick. Croker's been named like 3 times. They need him back as well. Like, he's a gun. And the Bald Eagle just isn't quite cutting it. But Waddell back, okay, so that's good next week. Turbo back round 9. Yeah, they need him. They really do. But Dragons, great win, man. Like, they're trucking along. Like, where are they sitting now? Sitting in 7th. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Lots to fix. Still wasn't overly impressed with the halves and stuff like that, but I just wanted to have a quick look. So yeah, this is the problem. That's 75%. They still got muscle, like they still got outran, which is pretty concerning considering they're missing like 3 middles and Turbo, who will give you 200. But yeah, they did tackle really well. I thought their tackle efficiency looked pretty good. Only 18 missed tackles in the game. That's gold, absolutely gold. And who was good for the Dragons? Sloaney absolutely killed it. Sloaney looked. He needs to get more ball, man, in good space. I'd love to see him shift early from time to time, sort of like the Bulldogs did when Fox was there. Just go bang, bang. Just not even now. Do it once a half. Like just if you're on the right hand, he plays right side, doesn't he? Yeah, so play to the left hand tram line on the third and just go spin, and just hit him and just see what happens. You might catch him out. You might get a cheap try. If you get one cheap try a game, man, you laugh, especially from your own end. So he's got serious speed. But look, great win for the Dragons. Still heaps they can work on. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're going to be that win ugly team, I think. So. They're a win ugly team. The Flanagan team's a win ugly team. So shout to the Dragons, and I'm genuinely concerned for the Sea Eagles just because Turbo's back. I even heard he might be back early next week. If he is he going to be fit for the rest of the year? It's concerning, man. It really is. On to the Doggies versus the Rabbitohs. This was a clinic. Do you know what's impressed me most about the Doggies this year? I'm not going to talk about the game too much here. Just going to talk about the Doggies in general. They've made 2 pretty good. I think the Rabbitohs have actually been overachieving. I don't think they're that good, but they're pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? They've won more games than they've lost. They've been pretty damn good. And Sharkies, again, I don't think they're going to be a genuine contender or anything, but just those 2 games, right? They frustrated them into doing. Like, you watch Jai Arrow on the sideline, he's having a fit. You watched AFB frustrated to the point I think he shoved Salmon. That's a really good sign because that's the sort. It's like Mike Tyson biting. You can't do anything, so you lash out. That's awesome. That means you're making the other team be like, this is just, you know what I mean? Like, we got nothing. And Rabbitohs had literally nothing in this game. I love that for the Bulldogs, that they're frustrating teams into doing dumb stuff. And that's just great. Now, a lot of people have been saying, Bulldogs genuine contenders? Look, again, like, people think I hate teams because I critique them. When I critique good teams, especially when they're pushing up into premiership contention harder than the bottom teams. With the bottom teams, just find positive things, talk a bit of footy. With top teams, we're trying to dissect, pull things apart to see if they can do it. So this isn't a knock on them at all. In fact, it's actually majority glowing. I think they're the best team at the moment. They look very organised. Everyone knows their place. They're riding that, they're riding a wave of momentum. Everything's going their way. Like, not going their way, but like they're getting lucky, but just everything's good and positive. There's been no real negative stuff. So I genuinely think that's bare minimum gets you into a semi. Anything more than that, though, I think is just getting a little ahead. Because here's my two concerns, and they're not bad things. So before you get angry typing in the comments, Bulldogs fans, they're just concerns because we don't know. One is burnout. Okay, so Melbourne and Penrith over the last 2 years time their runs to perfection. They're not trying to have a perfect season. Sometimes teams get knocked, like people were. I know this doesn't sound like a good example because Melbourne just lost, but they sort of say, but they leaked those 12 points. Like, I think it's great that doggies are trying to keep these clean sheets and stuff like that, but Craig Bellamy knows winning premierships, and Ivan Cleary knows winning premierships better than any coach getting around right now. Bennett, it's of course you want to keep clean sheets and all that stuff, but prioritising peaking at the right time and not burning out your best players toward the end it goes above that. To me, it just does. I mean, it's just, if you actually looked at Bulldogs last year and you listened to me, I was sort of saying, I feel like they're a red line, and I'm like, I do not think they can play any better. I do not think they can play harder, and they've been playing finals intensity this whole season. Pretty much since halfway through last year. And then what happened at the end of that Bulldogs season was, I mean, let's not, like, Bulldogs, the Bulldogs finished the year, and I know I did. I still had a really positive, what a great season. They're going to be really good next year. And we felt really positive. But let's not forget what happened. They lost 3 games in a row. They got pumped 13 plus twice. Actually, I think one ended up being 12 because there was a late try. And I know they'd played really good in that Manly game and got sort of jagged at the post. But again, they lost that in the final 20 minutes. There was definitely some burnout there, Ivan Cleary, that's just over the past 3 years, he's not worried about his record 7 games in. Like, I think last year even they were 4-2 or something. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they were winning every game, but you just sat there and go, they're going to be impossible. You knew they were going to be firing in finals. And that's my only really concern is burnout / how will they perform in a final series. Remember, you've got to win 3 in a row if you finish the top 4, 4 if you don't. Have they won a finals game in the last decade? So that's where I'm just like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I wouldn't get ahead of yourselves if you're a Bulldogs fan. Hell yeah, it's my job to not get ahead of myself. Dare to dream, Bulldogs fans, but I'm just like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, lock them in, like they're going to win it. Like, I'm not going to be chucking $1,000 on them to win the comp because it's just so long to go. You got to time your run. Everyone has to be fit and healthy. Remember, Parramatta was at 22. A lot of players coming into that game busted, stuff like that. You want everyone in tip-top shape. So they're my only real concerns. And if that's your only 2 concerns, is like whether you're going to burn out from playing so good or whether you can put a really good finals campaign together because you haven't done one in a long time, I reckon you're doing pretty damn good. So, but yeah, look, this was, I mean, let's have a look at this. 82% completions, and this was up over 90 for a lot of it. Like, this fell away a little bit at the end. 8 line breaks to nil. Like, this is ran for 2,000 metres, almost doubled the Rabbitohs. Average set distance 43. It just offloads 19-4, so they're playing footy still. 90% tackle efficiency. Missed tackles 19. Like, if that's under 25-30, you're doing great. You know, so, and like I said, 3 of these errors were garbage time errors, so I'm not even worried about those at all. So, just cracking footy, really, really good footy from the doggies. Like, and as far as the Rabbitohs go, look, man, I'd said at the start of this actually that I have believed they have been overachieving a bit. And I mentioned the week before, like Latrell, he's a fullback, bro. Oh, he's a centre or a fullback, you know, and yeah, I just didn't. It just sucks because Jai Gray's so awesome, but I just think he's got to go back there, man. And they need Humphries back. They've got a lot of work to do, the Bunnies still. I mean, they've a great start to the year, but yeah, I feel like they could really get clobbered by some of those top teams if they rattle them. But who knows? Maybe the doggies were just that damn awesome. So we'll give the Bunnies a pass. But yeah, massive win from the doggies. Shout out to them. Dolphins versus the Storms. This is one of the ones I got wrong. Man, this game was damn wild. I'm going to have to keep checking my notes, guys, because these games are so long ago. Oh, yeah. This is my take on it, right? So, someone actually said it. If Melbourne are missing one... So, we've seen Penrith over the last few years. One of their spine players can be out and they just perform perfectly fine. If one of the Storm spines out, they don't look the same. But look, Storm were pretty much perfect the first 25 minutes. But they only scored, was it 16-8 in that time? I know their score ended up being 16-12. But I think they were up 16-8. And they were well on top, 27, 28 minutes in. We're sitting there going, here's another 50 piece. But then their points didn't flow like they normally did. And I genuinely think that was Harry Grant, because they were winning the ruck through that first 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I think he would have generated more pressure, more, you know, he would have ran out of dummy half, because what's the name of the guy that played for them again in the number 9? Garlic. Garlic did nothing but pass the ball off the deck, which is fine. Like, he's not Harry Grant, I'm not expecting him to be, but Harry would have been sniffing around there. I honestly think in that first 25, with how good Melbourne played in it, the score would have been 24-0 or thereabouts. And I don't know if Dolphins would have been able to run that down. I know they scored 40, but, you know, it's a momentum thing. If they go into half-time and it's 24-0 or 28-0 or something, it would have been a much different story. But because it was close at half-time, you know, it's 12-16, it obviously gave them a real sniff and they went to work. But, look, man, having said that, they do just need to be better in second halves and all that sort of stuff. Hammer was great. Look, man, I got a friend that plays in the Malmaninga Cup for the Dolphins, which is the under-19s. And a lot of the Dolphins boys rocked up to it at North Devils there. I couldn't believe how big Katoa is. I was wondering why his defense was so good. But look, man, this is why I've never quite been able to put Jerome Hughes in that elite category. Like, Jerome Hughes will tear you a new rectum if you're well on top. But when Storm are behind, he doesn't, you know what I mean? We even just saw Mitchell Moses just then. You know, they were behind there. Did I get behind? They were behind there at one point. And he just steered the ship so well, like an organised, like a genuine number 7 sort of did. And if you break this game down, like, I think Katoa nearly had a 10 out of 10 performance here, and Joey John said and I agree with Joey on this one. It was a 10 out of 10 performance, and I thought he really, really schooled Jerome Hughes here, because Katoa was down in this game. Like, nothing was going their way in this first 20. Sorry, guys. Nothing was going well for them, and his kicking, everything was just absolutely perfect. And I can't remember let's have a look at his player stats quickly. I'm sure he put a few on. Like, he's a player, bro. I said this, I haven't seen a player control, like being good control and organising half as good as Katoa since Cleary, and I stand by that. 3 try assists, there you go. 1 line break assist. He's special, bro. He's really good. I know he's already played for Tonga, but he might get himself a jersey, a sky blue jersey pretty soon. I'm pretty sure he's a blue. What did he say he wants to play for New Zealand? I can't remember. Let me know in the comments if you know. But yeah, cracking game. But look, Storm, my take so far is, the thing was too, and like just talking about the Bulldogs, right? We watched I just mentioned that Storm and Penrith over the past 5 years, obviously, don't really worry too much about They know you don't win a premiership in April. In the press conference after, he's just so relaxed. He's like, yeah, he swore straight away by accident. And then it's just like, it was just, he knows there's stuff to fix, and he knows he's got time to do it, and he knows he's got the skills and the roster to be able to do that. So I'm not worried about them at all. But look, great win for the Dolphins, man. So where are they sitting now? Sitting up there in 10th. 3 weeks ago, people were saying they're going to win the Spoon and how bad they were and to kick them out of the comp. Yeah, they're up there in 10th, looking nice. But yeah, shout out to the Dolphins. Wars Bronx. This game was wild, bro. This game was absolutely wild. Metcalf did his best to lose it for him, kicking 1 from 4, but then slots it from halfway in Golden Point and gives the old Dame time. That was pretty good. Damian Lillard actually reshared that. That's pretty cool, man. Damian Lillard's that's crazy, man. So, look, man, when this was raining and horrible, I was like, Reynolds is going to steer the ship. Reynolds will get him home because I think he's the best wet weather half in the game and one of the best windy wet weather kickers in the game too, which we can see here. He kicked 1 dead, but besides that, man, he was bloody good. It was Ben Hunt just being straight buns. Reece Walsh buns. Reece Walsh kicks it out on the full. Just crazy, man. Like, I'm 100% sold now. Like, Ezra Mam has to come into this team because I need more running. Go in at 6. Ben Hunt 100% has to come in at 9. Because Ben Hunt I've been saying the Broncos, like I live in Brizzy, like Broncos fans when they signed him, I'm chatting to people like, man, like acting like they were signing like prime State of Origin Ben Hunt every week. And I'm like, bro, I watch Dragons games every week. And Dragons fans, I've said this before, and Dragons fans 100% back me up. He has got tons and tons of buns games in him. Like, he really does. He really, really does. So, yeah, I think you got to get him out of that edge because that pass at the end, that was premeditated. You never want to premeditate something like that. He passed it into the belly of a Warrior. But anyway, why'd you pass that, bro? But super subpar from him. But look, Broncos got a lot of work to do as well, but have the time to do it. They're going to get a lot of home games. They're going to go, but they've got to get this spine organised, man. And one thing about Madge Maguire, I said this before, like I feel like sometimes Trent Barrett coaches the teams and other times he does. I really didn't understand this 3 dummy half rotation. Like, can you explain that to me, someone? Like, wild, man. That's so weird. So weird. But yeah, Broncos got some serious work to do. I think they've got a few injuries now too, so they need. Let's have a quick look here. To me, to really take the Broncos seriously, right, I need them to win 4 good games in a row against like above average competition. You know what I mean? Like have 3, 12, 10 plus wins, like 10 point plus wins against like decent teams, and then I can take them real seriously. Until then, it's just potential. It's just, they could be, maybe, but I can't take them overly seriously at the moment. But when they're firing, they're good to watch. So fingers crossed they can sort it out. And on to the Wars. Who thinks Aaron Clark's been more impactful signing than James Fisher-Harris? Because I think he might have been. He has been. If you've been watching me for a while, for the last 2 years, I've been like, when he's been at the Titans, I'm like, I think this guy's elite. But it's just not getting played properly. I kept saying that. I don't think he's being played properly. Well, Warriors just unlocked, bro, and he is nice. Like, he is really good. I thought that he had stints where he was the best forward on the park, and Pat Carrigan and Payne Haas are on the field. Like, he's really good, man. Like, Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. He's a really good player. Like, he'd have to be in the top 5 signings of the year, you know. And like I said, he's probably got his nose ahead of Fisher Harris at the moment, which is just wild to me. C&K, his tackling, man, he's got to be one of the better. No one really talks about his defence. His defence was crazy. He was slapping. But now, I said this story on my TikTok, but I'll just say it again just in case you did miss it. When Bulldogs signed Zion from the Warriors, I was like, why did they let that guy go? And actual hardcore Warriors fans messaged me and they're like, oh, bro, he's actually the worst out of our young players coming through. And to me, I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. But I was actually like, sounds like salty fans that are upset that someone's left and they're like, he's not even that good anyway. Bro, they were right. These dudes are on one, bro. There's Vayamunga, Laban, Halasima. Oh my God. Like, this Halasima, man, he has, if he gets a real nice line running, like, he can be like Payne Haas, but running lines like Niakura. He reminds me a bit, Willie Mason played sometimes not the front row, he used to play a bit wider, just so barnstormingly strong. And just fast legs, but he's a monster, man. He's going to be an absolute machine. Just chuck him in your anytime try scorer every week. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit. I think they need to get Jackson Ford out of this team. And I know everyone, when I said that in my post game, was like, "What are you talking about? He made 50 tackles, 3 misses." He had a pretty good game, but he was absolute garbage in the first 15 or 20. And he's just to me, he's been garbage for. Like, he's played like he's like Kepi. Like, Kepi's actually been pretty good lately, but he just gives penalties at dumb times. He makes errors at dumb times. Like, you're allowed to make errors, but they always seem to be at dumb times. But he did have a pretty good game. For 60 minutes, he had a pretty good game. But I'd just love to see some footy in the legs of some of these younger lads because they're going to be special, man. Warriors they're building something, man. They really are, and I feel like last year was just a hiccup, you know. Like, I really do feel like there's something there. And that crowd was buzzing. Footy's flying in New Zealand. Shout out to the Wars. Panthers versus the Roosters. Now, when this game kicked off, right, I was like, well, I don't know exact time, but about 15 minutes in, I'm like, what has happened to the Panthers? Like, Edwards throwing these horrible passes backwards and just Cleary passing to front rowers on the 5th. I'm sitting there going, what is gone? How? Like, if Penrith fell off a little bit, you'd be like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, but like, from the second game of the year till about 20 minutes into this game, it has been some of the, like, literally wooden spoon footy. And I just couldn't believe what I was watching. But obviously then if you had been overseas somewhere and partying and having a good time and you just came home and you flicked on the TV and it was half time on Friday night footy or whatever it was it Thursday night, and you just watch this game, you're like, wow, Penrith are bloody good, aren't they? You'd just be like, Penrith are going to win the comp again. Like, if you didn't know what had been happening and you just came in, this is where you started your season. Halfway through that game, clicked it on, you're like, wow, this Penrith team, no one's touching them again this year. They're going to win the comp. It was such a clinical second half. It was close to perfect. It really was. They took a goated scrum play for it to not to be, whatever it was, 32-0 in the second half. But absolutely crazy. Shout to Cleary, all-time point scorer for Penrith Panthers at the age of 27. I did the math too. If he keeps scoring about the way he's scoring, he's going to break that record when he's around 33, Cam Smith. Which is pretty wild considering Cam Smith played till he's 40 and didn't miss games. But his goal kicking's just... He's so good, man. Like, 88% this year. And people are like, oh yeah, he's having a good year. It's always been over 85. Someone said, oh, he misses heaps. I was like, bro, he's like multiple percents above Haslam, who's the GOAT. Like, his goal kicking is just so nice. I heard a goal kicker talking about it, just saying the way he balances and the way he follows through is just literally like robotic and perfect. But what have I written here? Oh, Oh, yeah. Okay. So one thing, there was so much wrong with the Panthers, but just when I was really breaking it down, I was like, what do they really need? And if you've been watching me, I've sort of said I do think they're short of middle. And I just mentioned last year, I said I think they've brought Papali'i in as a front rower, and everyone's like, no, he's going to take Sorensen's spot. But no, they brought him on as a front. I thought he swung the game. Like, he was man of the match for me, man. His line, his leg street, I think Cleary said in the post game, he said, yeah, he's actually played pretty good in the other games, but he's just blowing himself out early because he's coming on and he's just tackling for like 15 minutes because Penrith have been poor and blowing his lungs out real early. But he came on with the game a bit in the balance and I thought he took over the middle, and that's saying something because Roosters' middle was pretty good. I thought he was really the difference there for a while, and it really laid a platform for Cleary to go to work. Mitch Kenny was another one who really tightens up their middle. You just notice him when he's back, but unfortunately been suspended for 2 weeks. I think he should fight it though, because I don't know, 2 weeks for that. I really don't know about that. But it was just one of these ones when everyone seems to play better when Cleary, you know what I mean? When Penrith really get on that top, it was pretty damn crazy. And even just stuff like their kick pressure was good. So we saw Savala last week. His kicking game was sitting there going, wow. And then this time, who was putting the pressure on him? I think it was someone kept shooting out at him. I think it was Kenny. And his kicking game was way off. It was still actually pretty good for a second gamer, but way off the standard it was the week before. It's just because he had to. I mean, that was clearly a tactic too. If you're tall, it actually takes you longer to kick the ball. You got to drop it, you further, you got to kick. You know what I mean? It actually does. That's why it's genuinely the short guys who have better short kicking games, because you just drop it on your boot's right there. For him to wind up a big kick, it actually takes a long time. And that's why I used to see Matt Burton stand so far back when he used to put Burton bombs up, because it does take a long time to load up. But yeah, I thought Panthers, everything was better from top to bottom. First 20 was not great and very un-Penrith, but what was impressive was they were able to tidy it up mid-game and go on with it. And like I said, if you tuned in, if you started your NRL season at half-time and the Penrith Panthers game, you'd sit here going, Jesus, it'd be about $2 to win the comp, wouldn't they? It was pretty damn impressive. But yeah, I think let's have a quick look at some of the player stats here. But look, I think Tortle's back next week as well. He's going to add a lot to round 9. So they're going to miss him for another week, so that's not good. If they do lose Mitch Kenny again, that's going to real hurt them, because they need him, man. They really do. Sometimes it's just not your year, is it? This is not Penrith's year. If they somehow manage to salvage this and even just have a good finals run, like I said, great win, but then they lose someone like the glue of their team in Mitch Kenny for a couple of weeks. Yeah, so Nathan Cleary ran for 100. Dylan Edwards. This is a thing too. I said he had a bad game, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about? His stats were crazy." But I was more talking about just his decision making in the first 20, 25 minutes. I was like, "What are you doing, bro?" But then he goes on to do that and make me look silly. But yeah, it's pretty damn impressive. I thought Moses Leota had his best game as well. But yeah, great. And look, Roosters. Look, Trent Robinson, man, we're really going to learn a lot about him as a coach. I can't remember the last time, and obviously there would have been one, where he hasn't had a premiership winning roster. Not saying they're favourites, but would you not agree? Since 2018, they've probably had a 2000. When did they win the comp last? Whenever it was, they've at least had a roster that could win the comp, and you'd say this one isn't. So, but it's still a good team. So I think we're really going to find out a lot about him this year. I really do. But not looking good so far. I mean, second last. Yeah, he's still got, there's some talent in here, man. And there's some players that are playing above average footy for their, White's been a revelation, but they're still way down the bottom, Yeah, it's tough. I'm pretty worried for the Roosters. I really am. Who do they have next week? They got the Dragons. Anzac Day. That's going to be a banger. Who normally wins that one? Who's been winning that one lately? Not too sure. But anyway, Roosters, a lot of work to do. Panthers. This is the thing, Panthers too, just one last thing on them. If they win next week, we'll sit here and be like talking about them as general contenders again, even though they'll probably be sitting in 14th. You know, it's not going to take much for. It's not going to take much for us to really start taking the Panthers seriously again. It was pretty damn perfect. But next week without Kenny, they'll be a real test. Who do they have? Oh, they got Seagulls. Oh, Turbo's going to rush back for that for sure. Titans Raiders. Man. Now, I tipped Raiders for this, and about 20 minutes in, I was like, what have I done? What have I done? I needed Titans under 17.5 points in the first half too, and 19 minutes in, they're on 17, they're on 16. I'm like, oh no. And then Raiders just went, hold my beer. They were just like, I got you, Snag. But look, man, seriously, this Raiders team is good, man. This Raiders team's real good. I'm not saying it's premiership winning worthy or anything like that, but it's a damn good footy team. Like, put it this way, Raiders lose this game last year. Raiders lose this game the year before. Raiders probably lose this game the game before this. They're winning them now, man. It's just, when things didn't go their way, they used to just throw in the towel and everything would start going their way, but they wrestled it back. And what impressed me most was they wrestled it back with their big three middles off, having breaks. Not three, I think two of them came off. But it was great. It was really great. Having said that, I mentioned this in preview and post game on TikTok. Mo, RCG, and Tino, brilliant. Bench, so weak, man. Like, one of these guys has to come to the bench. I would pick Mo and start Tino at front row. Take your pick in the middle. I don't even care. But just, they lost so much when Tino and RCG came off. Like, and then literally, I reckon Tino was on the bench for about 6 minutes and they had to bring him back on because they were just getting absolutely pumped through the middle. Burned 2 interchanges on Tino alone. No, 3, right? On, off, on. Like, crazy, man. It's just crazy. But I actually thought Titans played pretty damn good. Like, seriously, they weren't bad in this game. They were actually pretty good. It was just, I've said it before, I just don't, it's not that I don't like the Titans or I don't think they don't have good players. I don't like the setup of their team. Like, there's just 2 clear weaknesses. Their spine, which has good players in it, but it's not a proper spine, and their bench. When you have 2 glaring weaknesses like that, it's like, all right, if we can't go forward, we can't score points. And when we bring our starting front row off, we get pumped. You're not going to win many games like that, man, you know? You're really not. But, yeah, I thought Raiders were great in this, and now they're sitting pretty in 3rd. People had them for the spoon. The amount of hate I got putting the Raiders in the top 8. I had them in 8th. I didn't have them in the top 4 even. People were like, you're an idiot. They're going to get the spoon. I was getting hated on something fierce. And here they are sitting on equal with the Melbourne Storm. 8 weeks in. This isn't the 2nd week, you know. So just cracking. Like, yeah, Starling so improved. Corey Horsburgh again threatening, but even the outside backs had a bit of a stinker in the first 15-20, but they'd wrestled back. Yeah, it's been great. And who was a front rower that comes on? Mariotta's given you a good half an hour every game too. I'm really impressed with him. He's been pretty good. Now, just a little muck around with their roster. I liked having Hoskins starting at lock and putting Papa on the bench, so you really juice up that bench. The bench was fine, but I really liked that even better. I thought Hoskins was that one or maybe it was 2 games at the start of the year where he started. I was like, man, he's nice in the middle too. He's not just an edge player. But yeah, great. And Jamal Fogarty, man, it blows my mind. Two things. That he's on 650. And it blows my mind that Canberra weren't going to offer him 2 years. Like, if Canberra didn't offer him 2 years, bro, they were only going to offer him 1. He's 31, man. He's not old at all. That's prime halfback years. Give him 3, mate. Get him till he's 34. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you bought Sanders. Wait your turn, mate. Just like Fogarty had to wait his turn. You know, it's just... Jamal Fogarty is better than most the number 7s getting around. Like, there's a small handful better than him. Like, he is up the pointy end as far as the number 7s go in the comp right now. His kicking game's perfect. His conversions are perfect. His game management's great. His ball playing's above average, not brilliant. Tackling, above average, not brilliant. He's ticking just about every box, you know. He's brilliant. And, yeah, love what the Raiders are doing up the milk. Night Sharks. A few late tries there. Well, 2 late tries there. Made this look a little more not as trash as their offense was. It is so bad, man. And it doesn't look like they care. It looks like when they signed Dylan Brown, all the wind went out of their sails. And they're like, wouldn't be surprised if a few of them have been tapped on the shoulder and been told you need to go. It's just, man, like, you have Fletcher Sharp, Kalen Ponga, Greg Marju, and Bradman Best in your team, bro. Like even this Marju try, like, it was on, like, they got to an edge, but, like, if Marju wasn't the biggest beast in the NRL, not many wingers actually score that. Like, he went through blokes, you know, so he was actually well covered in the end. It was just, yeah, it was just because he's such a beast, he got it through. But it's just awful, man. Like, I actually sort of can't believe what I'm watching. And, like, I've taken unders on the Sharks the last 3 weeks and hit every time. And every single time when the team list pops up pre-game, I'm like, man, what am I doing? Why have I taken unders here? And then it hits comfortably every time. It's wild, man. Like, they just have no attack. They have no attack. Let's have a little look on the ladder. Like, here they are here. They've scored 60 points in 8 rounds. 60 points. Like, all these teams around, like, look at the teams below them, man. Like, look, the Eels have nearly scored double the amount of points than the Knights. Like, Roosters have. Panthers is way over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is insane. Absolutely insane. I just have no idea. Like, it's like they're like, yeah, let's work on our defense in the preseason. And it was like, oh, that's right, we have to score points to win games. And I've said that for a while, man. You can't just have good defense, man. You've got to be able to attack as well. Halves need to get sorted out. They're an absolute mess, man. They're an absolute mess. And just they'll get ripped apart at will there at one point on edges. Is just tries from front rowers, tries on edges. There was holes everywhere. Just wild, man. But look, onto the Sharkies. Look, they needed this. 2 losses in a row. We're sitting here going, geez, like, you know, they never looked like they did, like, you know, like, there was never any questions like, will they not make the 8? You know, like there has been with, you know, like Penrith or Parramatta or anything like that. But, you know, like 2-game skid looked very average in both those games. But they've bounced back and they've beaten Manly now. They've beaten the Knights now. They're back on track. I'm still not sold, but looking so much better. You know, like, look, great 2 games to build on. They can go back now. Pretty sure they'll have a bunch of games at Shark Park over the next few weeks and, yeah, do their thing. So, like I said, I've always loved this team 1 through 17. I'm just not sold on some bits and, you know, do they need some X factor? You know, that's the only really question marks here. They've got size, they've got speed, they've got it all, man. But can they win the grind in a big game? And we saw them play the Doggies and they got outground real quick, you know. So yeah, still some question marks over the Sharkies, but great performance. On to the game of the century. Performance Spoon Bowl game last year, and this game was so awesome. So the reffing was yuck, but it made the game so good. Like, the reffing was so bad, but I loved every single call because it just made it crazy. We hit this one. We picked Eels in this one, guys. We hit our bet. We hit our try scorers. Great day for the Snag. I was really worried for the West Tigers when the Galvin news first broke. The way they all sort of handled it and came together, I thought it was going to help them. I looked at their rosters side by side and went, Parramatta have a better team, and tipped them. I had to just try and remove what's been going on and just go, all right, who do I think is actually going to win the football game? Having said that, I probably made an L because even I didn't think Mitchell Moses was going to come back and play that good. I'm Mitchell Moses' biggest fan. Thought he's been underrated for a really long time. Well, he's not anymore because of State of Origin, what he did there, but I've been saying how good that I thought he's been top 3 for about 5 years, and he showed it, mate. He's something else. To come back, your first game of the year, and put on that, like let's check his stats. I don't even know what they are because the game just finished. This is going to be silliness. Oops. This is going to be absolutely silliness. Mitchell Moses. Well, there you go. 76 run meters, 2 line break assists, 3 try assists. I wonder how he tackled. Mitchell Moses. Oh, that's Jack Williams. 3 missed, so that's a little high, but we'll give him a pass because he was so good. When he came, first of all, the first thing I noticed with Parramatta was they just looked organised. And that's one of the reasons why I think Doggies are so good. They just look organised. Like, everyone's in the right spot they're supposed to be, and no one's out of position ever. Parra obviously didn't look that good, but everyone was in the spot they needed to be at all times, and it just makes such a big difference. And we hear Joey John saying it all the time. There's a reason why organising halfbacks get paid the big bucks, and this game was the perfect example. Parramatta looked like a completely different team because Tigers came from in this game. Tigers blew their lid for a little bit there. There was about a 10-minute period where they were just way off. But the rest of the game, they were coming, and they looked really good at the start. They came over the top. They really came. And the Eels, Mitchell Moses, what do you do at this? The first 15 minutes, 40-20 and a try assist. And you're sitting there going, wow. I said, if that's where his day finishes, I'm like, that's a pretty good performance for your first game back. Try-saving tackle. Then that kick over the top with game on the line, flawlessly executed to seal the game. Sideline conversion. Just stop it, man. That tackle he made, I know it slipped high, but we're talking about that much too high to one of the best try-saving tackles I've ever seen on a huge bloke by a small half. That was special. We're talking an inch. It tagged the bottom of his chin. If it just was here... Bro, what a performance, man. Seriously. And the reason why, I've been knocking Dylan Brown lately, but the cool thing about when Mitchell Moses is doing his thing, Dylan Brown is actually awesome. I said, I think he's one of the best Robins in the comp because he doesn't, and then look what he does. 201 metres. He damn nearly scored 3 tries. His running game becomes such a threat, and it's just... That's why I said I don't know why he's leaving. He is so good with Moses. I personally think they had the potential to be the best halves combination this year. I thought the best one has been Luai and Moses, Luai and Cleary, but they've obviously split up now. This is before Parramatta's season sort of fell apart with Moses not being there and stuff like that. But coming in, I was like, man, they might be the best halves pairing this year. If Parramatta come out swinging, they're both fit and healthy for the thing. I was like, they might have the best halves in the comp together, and yeah. Anyway, look at this game, man. First game together, and wow. Look, I'm not going to talk about the reffing because there was about 30 bad calls in it. But at the end of the day, I thought the team that played better footy won. I genuinely thought Parramatta did play better footy for the majority of the game. That 10-minute period after halftime was just crazy good. Dylan Walker, bro. So I was completely spaced on the... Riles spaced on the coach's name. Riles has got him playing a really nice brand of footy. It's link, but he's running like it's just a balance of how often he's doing it. And it works perfectly, like with two great running halves on either side. Like it's actually really scary. Like if Parramatta were 4-3 right now, I'd be sitting there going, dude, they could ruffle some feathers. Like I think it's too far gone now. They're going to be chasing their tails and would have to burn themselves out to even make finals. But it actually worked really well. Like I'm really impressed. Still tons of stuff to fix. They still leaked 22 points and stuff like that. But just such a good performance. And just isn't it just weird when a play like that comes back, everyone lifts. Moretti's best game. Oh, bro, we've got to talk about this dude, man. This dude here is a weapon. I think I've mentioned it. I think I might have mentioned him a couple times. I'll go to this team list. I've said a similar thing about Tyrrell May when I first saw him. This kid is on one. Like, this kid he's only 20, 191 centimetre. He is really good, eh? Like, he won every piece of contact he entered against Pole and Tyrrell May. He absolutely folded birds, scored a try. Like, he is really good, man. Like, how many games in is he? 5 games. That can't be his attack. Post-contact, mate. 135 total post-contact. He's really good, bro. He's got to tidy that up. But yeah, he's gonna be one. Like some dudes just have aura, like they do, man. He's got it. Like I noticed it with Tyrrell May. Like he came on the park for about 15 minutes as a substitute for the Roosters one year, about 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was. And I went, that kid's gonna be a footy player, man. And I think Parramatta have one with him too. He's really nice. I'd be locking him up right now because those big, agile front rowers that win every piece of contact are hard to come by. And they cost about $1 million when they have a name for themselves. So get him now for $500. Yeah, he's an absolute weapon. Look, guys, let's talk about it. The Galvin thing, like, does anyone know how he went at Cup? Someone told me he scored 4 tries. Is that right? Because if he did, that is outrageous. I'll probably get close to winning this game with Galvin in it. Look, the reason why I was worried about Tigers is if things didn't go their way, how they'd handle it. And the second thing started going against them, they handled it so poorly. And I thought they got so lucky that Moretti got sent to the bin as well. Because if they went down 11 men, if they went down to 12 and Parramatta had 13 with the penalty, I think they might have just really pumped away with it and put a score on. Well, they sort of did anyway. But, yeah, like, they fell to pieces there for about 15 minutes. And you could even see, I think Cooper Cronk said it when those 2 sin bins happened. It was very interesting, the leadership. So Tigers are all scattered around, just standing there with their hands on the hips. And Mitchell Moses had the Parramatta Eels in a circle, barking orders. This is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. It was, very, very different leadership style. But, yeah, this... best game we've seen a lot of these guys play, and Isaiah Longy was brilliant, and he's going to be a gun. Addo Carr played his best game of the year. Dylan Brown played his best game of the year. I thought Junior Paulo played his best game. Jack Williams, I want to see a bit more from him. This Kelmer, I've thought there's been a footy player in this guy for a while, and this guy's absolutely been butt cheeks for the whole season, but he actually had an alright game too. But I'm loving Dylan Walker, and just when Moretti and Tuivati, is that how you say it? Tuivati? Came on. I love the big prop, little prop combo. Like when Ruben Cotter burst onto the scene, it was him and McLean, or big lumbering prop, leg speed prop, bang bang. So you get your big guy to draw in, and then you have your little prop go in and behind the ruck and get a quick play of the ball. I really love it, and I thought their combination when they came on together was really nice, really really nice. So shout out to the Eels. Where they sitting now? 17th, wooden spoon still. But look, just going off that, Parramatta fans, if you're watching, I think you're going to win some footy games this year. You've already won 2. I see minimum 5 more this year. There's, 20 games to go? You're going to win 5 games this year for sure, which should get you off the bottom of the table, without a doubt. But I wouldn't be writing to home too much because you're probably going to lose Moses over State of Origin. Give the boy a Blues jersey. All right, let's have a little look-see at next week's games and get the hell out of here. Oh, Broncos, Bulldogs. Why isn't Reece playing, man? That would have been a banger. I dare say that'll be sold out at Suncorp Stadium. Should we have a quick look, see how many tickets are left? Nah, let's not do that, actually. Let's not do that. Roosters vs Dragons, Anzac Day. Oh, Anzac Day's on a Friday. Okay. Warriors, Knights. Warriors... Oh, there's 4 games. I was like, what's going on here with the time? So this is all Friday. Warriors, Knights, Anzac Day game in... Oh, this is in Christchurch, new stadium. And then Melbourne Bunnies at Amy Park. That'll be a banger. Oh, the last... Storm 13 plus in that. Last thing you want to do is play Melbourne after a loss. Cowboys, Titans, Panthers, Sea Eagles, Raiders, Dolphins. Ooh, a GIO. West Tigers, Sharkies, Parramatta with a bye. So get a week off. How good's that? Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.